ADHD. You've got ADHD.
Yep.
Just put the bullet points on here.
I went in for ADHD. I forgot the paperwork 5 times, and they said that's part of the test.
How old were you? How old were you when you found out?
This was 3 years ago.
Phil Phails for you. Oh my God. How old are you now?
I'm 39.
You're 39. So when
Yeah.
you were 36, you were diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah. I was going in because I was suddenly getting really bad anxiety, and we didn't know why yet.
Yeah.
But then it was like, hey, we also want to do this ADHD test or ADD test. And then like, we'll just have you do this in person. Like, do it in front of me.
Yeah.
And a couple times I'm like, I don't understand this question. I'm like, okay. And finally, we got to the end of it. He's like, I'm just referring you to a psychiatrist. Yeah. And then when I went in for that appointment, I was like, hey, we met for a month. And at the end of it, he diagnosed me with ADHD, general anxiety disorder, and bipolar type 2.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like I went on a Costco run for diagnoses. So it was kind of fun.
Comorbidities.
Yeah.
What they call those.
So yeah, they
ADHD and comorbidities.
Yeah,
coexisting conditions.
It was a little BOGO on my insurance, but
yeah.
So
buy one, get one free.
Yep. They were not free.
No, they're not free.
So
I was diagnosed when I was like 5.
Okay.
When I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Placed in a special ed program at school. Because I would finish all the stuff really fast.
Yeah.
And then goof off so much that it'd be a distraction for the class. So the teachers really didn't know what to do with me because I was like figuring everything out really fast.
Yeah. How do you punish the kid for getting it right?
Right.
Or doing the work?
But he's also distracting and kind of like, so I was in special ed. They really didn't know what to do with me because special ed back then, this was like, I'm 48.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is like, elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be at the principal's office all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
They just didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they put me in special ed. Special ed, they're pretty cool there.
Yeah. Did you have to, are you medicated?
No.
Okay.
Unmedicated.
Same.
Or my intention is to build a life that supports my neurodivergence.
Cool.
Through movement, through kind of structuring my day. In my software job, which I did software for the last 10 years before this, I had 2 pretty significant, I don't know if you'd call them mental breakdowns, but like I went on FMLA, which is like family medical leave, and I had like a psychologist write the whole thing up so that it was covered.
Yeah.
Because that job or that community or that company or those groups of people just weren't working for me in my life, and it would kind of put me in a real bad place.
Yeah.
And that happened twice, and I thought like, well, maybe software is not the job. And it could have been, maybe I didn't find the right company or the right group, but I chose like, oh, I'll just do this thing, which pays nothing, but I'm really happy, and I hope that it will pay something eventually, and not have those breakdowns. But yeah, I found that it paid real well, but I think
the money doesn't matter.
The cost on my mental health and my life, and even my relationship with my kids, it was just a lot.
And I shouldn't say the money doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter.
It certainly matters.
Yeah, it has its place. I mean,
the money I saved during that time allows me to do this.
Yeah,
have this runway.
Yeah, and the sales job got me a house.
Yeah.
And
this house.
Yeah,
bought me this house.
Like the market right now, the money I make now, I can't get a home.
Yeah, forget it.
And so it was like we snuck in at the right spot, and like all the stars aligned, and we closed on the house. And then 3 months later, that ship had sailed. We would not have gotten in.
Yeah, I snuck in. I bought this house in 2019, and right after that, things got weird.
Yeah,
everything got a little crazy.
Yeah.
So I think I snuck in too, and it was because I'm really grateful for the financial stuff from software, and we're talking about medicating the neurodivergence, and I think the way that I'm doing it is trying to structure my life in a way that supports who I am and,
Yeah.
and how I am, but also not using drugs or alcohol,
Caffeine.
which you use caffeine.
Caffeine's my crutch.
Yeah. I'll use caffeine before a bike ride.
Okay.
Like my motto with caffeine is like, I use caffeine if it has somewhere to go.
Okay.
If it's going to benefit, if it's going to move.
Mm-hmm.
Caffeine needs to move. But if I'm not going to move, if I'm going to be at the desk doing computer stuff or editing all day, I'm like, I don't do caffeine because I'll get jittery.
Yeah, there's like a upper threshold I can hit where the caffeine will knock me on my ass.
Really?
So it's like
what do you mean knock you on your ass? Make you tired?
Like anxiety.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, okay, probably above 800, which is way above what I'm supposed to be having. I mean,
milligrams we're talking?
Yeah, 450 is about the range you typically don't want to exceed.
Okay.
But I had built up a tolerance. Work-life balance was terrible, so I was just doing what I needed to do to survive. And so I was sitting at this like 800 to maybe 1,000 sometimes.
How do you know the milligrams?
Oh, I mean, I guess what an average cup of coffee is.
What is an average cup of coffee?
Like 100 to 120.
Okay.
And then
you were doing 8 of those.
No, I mean, I'd have 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So there's 240.
Yeah.
And then usually it would be midday, an energy drink that could be 160 to 300, depending on the size. There's certain energy drinks I can't have because of chemicals like taurine I can't have. That's a different issue. But then I'd usually have another energy drink of another 160 to 300 later.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's easy 800.
So you're metabolizing 800 grams of caffeine.
That's not necessarily just to keep me awake. That's to bring my brain to a place where it's like, okay, my focus is sharp.
Huh.
And so that's kind of the self-medication. I can't take ADD meds or ADHD meds because I have a heart condition, and they're like, hey, we don't want this putting stress on your heart. So I bypass that by going and doing, ludicrous amounts of caffeine.
Caffeine. Because 1/3 of the medications for ADHD are stimulants.
Yes, they are.
That's like the big one.
Correct.
The one that has the highest efficacy is the stimulants.
So yeah, I found my way around it, and now I'm trying to wean myself off. I'm around 400 a day. I had one just before this, and that'll be the last one I have for the day.
Yeah. So you regulate it to 400 milligrams a day.
Feels much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I tip past 800, my anxiety levels, if I'm putting it on a scale of 1 to 10, I can handle 5 for a couple of hours. So if like work is stressful or there's a lot of people, there's a lot of noise. I'm a personal trainer. I'm in a gym all day.
Yeah.
But if I'm over 800, I will quickly skyrocket to like a 7, 8, skipping into 9. Once I'm at 9, that's kind of
You're talking about your emotional level?
My anxiety level of like, I need to go isolate. I need to step away.
You get overwhelmed. You're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah. Overstimulated.
Anxiety.
The snowball starts to roll, and then it's, there's kind of a point of, by the time I've hit 9, I'm probably too late to stop it. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to go have my little attack outside.
Go into like a corner.
Yeah.
Stick your head in a bowl of ice or something.
Yep.
You got to like interrupt that emotional response.
Yeah.
I'm unmedicated through my life. I've self-medicated kind of the negative effects of ADHD, like the negative social cues that I've experienced with marijuana and alcohol quite a bit through my life.
Okay.
But I don't do that anymore. I've been clean from that for a couple years now. But that's been historically like, and I had great mental gymnastics. I'd be like, I'm using this for my medication, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So it's just like a distraction from discomfort.
Yeah.
Was really what it was.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a blessing or a curse not to be diagnosed earlier, because growing up, it was just, I'm undisciplined. I'm lazy.
Yeah. That's negative social cues. Yeah. You got a lot of like labels.
And it's just like, you just need to try harder.
Work harder.
And I'm a workhorse.
Yeah.
But I can't change how my brain chemistry works.
That's
and
right.
I think the diagnosis almost changed it as far as I'm not broken. I'm not wrong. I'm just using the wrong tools. And then the game became, I gamify a lot. That's a good way to get the dopamine. I need to actually focus.
Yeah,
and
gamify your projects. Yeah.
So then it became, okay, if I'm using the wrong tools, what's the right one? And then it became exploration. And it wasn't punishment. It wasn't degrading myself. It was, okay, let's go see what actually works, see what actually helps me. And yeah, I still crutch with caffeine, but a lot of it ends up being like, okay, I can't sit here for 8 hours and stare at a screen. I'll, flip the house upside down.
Yeah.
I got a task switch.
Yeah.
It's like, I did this for an hour. I'm going to go do something else for 10 minutes, and then I can come back or do something else. And I'll have a list of priorities, and it's like, cool, I'm going to bang this. Oh, I'll bang this one out, and I'll just kind of chug through this list. And so if you ever do end up at my house, you will see my notepad with my daily list of random nonsense that sometimes it's like, okay, you're at 3 hours, go work out.
Yeah.
Just knock your workout out, take the edge off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, way to gamify your life so that you can support the things you need to do. Yeah. We need side quests.
That's my whole thing, actually, is everything should be a side quest. You got your main life story you're trying to follow, but enjoy it. Seize the XP. Go get it.
Yeah.
So
we need those side quests.
That's right.
What is bipolar like? I don't know anybody.
Okay.
Do I know anybody that's bipolar? Well, I don't even know what is that.
Me either.
That's like there's extreme ups and extreme downs.
Yes.
What's it like for you?
So this is a really hard one. And my psychiatrist labeled me with that. My first therapist said, no, I don't agree. My second therapist gave me another diagnosis. And the thing is like, you have traits of, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have it.
And the DSM, you need to have a certain amount of them, right?
I think so.
And it needs to interrupt your life.
Yeah. So specifically when I was younger, and I think this was more not understanding what to look for in when ADD was becoming a problem or when it was kind of beating me. I would go into these manic episodes.
That's like hyperactivity.
Yeah. And it's not sleeping for 4 days.
Oof.
And that's not caffeine. That's just, I'm fucking my own nuclear reactor.
Would you be excited about a project and not sleeping?
Sometimes, yeah. So I was in film and video production. That was my major through college. And I could go on rants of, I sit down and write a script. The whole thing. Like suddenly it's just the switch flips and I don't stop.
And I
don't eat.
Which is a wonderful superpower.
No, I mean, yeah.
Well, you need to eat. Hold on.
Yeah.
Not those two sentences don't need to go back to back, right? You need to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, just the ability to sit down and crush something feels awesome.
Yeah.
Until you crash.
Yeah.
The depressive episodes could last weeks.
Really?
And it was like, I was never suicidal, but it was the pendulum would swing so far the other way.
Like low energy, in bed all the time. What would the depressive episode look like?
Disinterest in life in general. And that could show up as like, I mean, that was usually when I would start turning towards alcohol. And so then it's like, I didn't really answer your question. It really was, I would just disappear. And that's when people were like, hey, man, we had this great time like hanging out. We haven't seen you for a bit. What happened? Avoidance. And it's just like, I can't get my mind calm. I can't get my mind to stop being cruel. And so then it's the retreat to try and go center myself. And that might be like, I'm going hiking. No one knows where I am, stupidly. And this was, cell phones weren't great back then. So it's like, if anything happened to me, I'm just gone. And I didn't think about that. And, or, manic or depressed, I could hop in the car and just blow a couple tanks of gas driving somewhere. Just anywhere. Back then when it was, like $10 a gallon or $10 to fill the tank. Yeah. So, I could afford to do that. You would go somewhere in nature? Usually. Yeah. I'd usually always return to the woods. Yeah.
That's cool. That seems like a pretty healthy like addiction if you're gonna have one.
Yeah.
To be in nature.
But then it started becoming okay, I'm aware. I'm aware of this is pre-diagnosis. I could feel it. I started becoming aware of like, oh, if I don't curb this, I'm going manic. And
so you can see the precursors of an event.
Yeah, and it could be stressors in life. It could be something as simple as like, oh, this like girlfriend broke up with me, or relationship's not in a great place, and that's like this destabilizing trigger. And then vice versa. If I ever do go manic, there's almost always the opposite swing.
One then the other.
Yeah, it's like I have to pay the cost
immediately.
No,
it's like right at the end of the manic, or will there be like some respite in between?
It might be like a 12 to 24 hour.
Not long.
Yeah.
You're manic for like a couple days, and then like and then it's like you get a day of like in the middle, but it's just,
I better do my homework that day.
Yeah, because you're like it's just the time as you're transitioning.
Yeah.
Huh? It's like
so then it was it always felt like however long I was manic, it was about twice the length.
Twice?
Yeah.
On the depressive side.
Correct. It was a lot more sleeping. My body needs the break. The biggest way I found to combat that was, fitness.
Was fitness.
Yeah.
Working out.
Yep.
Not endurance sports though.
No,
lifting heavy stuff.
Yeah.
All my cycling friends out there.
Yeah, no.
James is not into.
No, I ran track for 12 years. I don't
run
circles
pole
anymore.
vault.
I did pole vault. I did decathlon, short sprints,
Yeah.
Jumps. If I had to see a finish line more than once, I would bitch. Like that was the one thing that I was just like, I don't want to see the finish line.
I'm not running circles.
That's
in here.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like once was enough. But the more I kind of adapted to like, hey, if I just work out regularly, I have a better understanding of when I'm going to start slipping in one of these two directions. And it's just like, I'm just going to go lift for an hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to go rock climb for a while.
Hell yeah.
And those are the kind of things that would kind of stabilize my brain chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got better at it, it almost became a, like, not an addiction. Maybe at points in my life, you could have qualified it as like, I'm addicted to working out. And I think that's probably true. But more so it was, I need this to just be a normal human being.
It was a life preserver, like a, I wonder about the word addiction for all things.
Yeah,
but
it's a little too big an umbrella.
Movement is medicine.
Yeah.
And you needed a lot of medicine at sometimes. I mean, I think investing in yourself is not a bad thing to do when you're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good, and movement and exercising is an investment in yourself, your body. Yeah. So you mentioned alcohol. Was that your drug of choice? Did you find yourself kind of in a place where you were soothing with alcohol or drugs?
For a few years. Yeah.
Just a few? That's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it was... so I was a scholarship athlete.
You were a scholarship athlete for gymnastics or for
track?
Track?
Yeah. Yeah. So D2.
Dang. What is D2?
Division 2, NCAA.
How big the school is.
Yeah, yeah.
So D2 is the biggest schools?
No, D3.
Okay.
Wait. No, D1. It's been a while.
D1. So it's almost the biggest schools.
Yeah.
The one,
so moderate size school.
Yeah. What school is it?
Central Washington.
Central Washington. Shout out to the Central Washington
Wildcats.
Wildcats. I
had to think about it.
I was close.
I had a lot of school spirit. I never went to a game. I got picked up to go run for them, so that was cool.
Yeah. So I went to the University of North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
The Screaming Eagles. Caca.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's what we do.
Okay.
All right. So we got ADHD. That's something we could talk about. We can talk about that more.